afraid of the dark? Are you scared?
Hello and welcome to the Surrey Supernatural YouTube channel. My name is Graham and I also run the Surrey Supernatural Investigations Facebook group. Today we'll be talking about the occultist Aleister Crowley. Edward Alexander Crowley, or Aleister Crowley, was born on the 12th of October in 1875 to a wealthy family in Leamington Spa, England. Aleister became famous being an occultist, but also known for being a magician, poet, novelist, painter and mountaineer. Aleister was educated at Trinity College in Cambridge, where he drew his attention to mountaineering and poetry, from which came several publications. Aleister's parents were devout Christians, and his dad was in fact a preacher for a group called the Plymouth Brethren. Aleister followed his parents' wishes, and when most boys his age would be out playing, Aleister would stay indoors and read the Bible, which led to him being ridiculed when he was at school. When Crowley was just 11, his father sadly passed away. After this sad event, Aleister started to point out mistakes in the Bible, and from then on decided that Christianity was not for him, and started to rebel against his parents' wishes. In 1898, Crowley met with a chemist by the name of Julian Baker. Now, Julian was a member of a group called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and Crowley decided that he would also become a member of this group. This group investigated all types of paranormal activity and also looked into the occult. After being a member of the group, Aleister decided he would hire a member of the group to become a living tutor on the subject. While the member was tutoring Crowley, tutor and Crowley would often experiment with ceremonial magic and the ritual use of drugs. Crowley continued to explore his bisexuality and would seek out prostitutes for his pleasure. Crowley would find his eye-opening, but high-level members of the group did not find his behaviour pleasing and would not let Crowley into the higher levels of the group. Crowley had enough of Europe and decided to travel to Mexico, where his past dreams of mountain climbing came back. After Mexico, he travelled to Japan, Hong Kong and India. While Crowley stayed in India, he learned a Hindu meditation technique called Raja Yoga. In 1902, Crowley joined a group of mountaineers who were aiming to climb the K2 mountain for the very first time. In November 1902, Crowley again travelled back to Europe, where he was settled in France, and he was settled back in the art world. Crowley's lifestyle actually painted a completely different picture from the one he was living, as he was surrounding himself with several famous painters of that time. It was while in Paris that Crowley actually fell in love, much to the surprise of others. One of the artists that Crowley surrounded himself with, Gerald Kelly, introduced him to his sister Rose during a meeting. It was after this meeting that Crowley and Rose got married, but the marriage was one of convenience, as it would stop Rose from entering into an arranged marriage. Before long, though, Crowley actually fell in love with Rose and would put aside his normal dark poems and instead write his wife love poems. During the start of Crowley's and Rose's relationship, they could not be a more perfect couple. Rose accompanied Crowley on all his journeys and even went along with all his schemes, and it was for all this that Crowley had an idea to start his own religion. It was while Rose was meditating that she told Crowley that the Egyptian god Horus was waiting for him. In 1904, while Crowley was meditating, he says he heard from Awas, the personal messenger of Horus, and it was from the messages that Crowley received from the messenger and Horus himself that Crowley transcribed the Book of Law, which would become the basis that his new religion would be based. The main teaching of his religion was one that Crowley himself lived by: do what thou wilt. Crowley's teachings were supposed to be a successor to the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and were extremely similar to what they taught. In 1907, Crowley founded the Occult Order and called it the AA. Crowley then devoted most of his time to the order, writing its literature and even a periodical for its members. While Crowley was working hard in the order, being consumed by the words of Horus and feeding the masses information about the occult, his wife Rose was battling a deep decline into the darkness of alcoholism. In 1906, their daughter Lilith unfortunately died from typhoid. Even though it was illness that killed his daughter, Crowley blamed Rose for his daughter's death and her inability to get a grip on things happening around her. Even though Rose could hardly remain sober, Crowley and Rose had another daughter, Lola. When the couple got divorced in 1909, Lola was entrusted into the care of Rose. That was until 1911, when Rose was finally committed to an institution. After his divorce from Rose, Crowley floated around from city to city, where he met several women, of which one was to bear him with a son which he called Aleister Crowley. Crowley's travels throughout the world were often dogged with rumours that he was in fact a spy for the British intelligence service, as most accounts were under investigation by the Brits. During the First World War, Crowley carried on writing manuscripts about the occult and met with prostitutes for his pleasure. In 1920 he moved to Sicily, where he founded the Abbey of Fatima, which he then used as his headquarters. There Crowley and his followers would experiment with drugs, sex and lots of different bizarre rituals. In 1923 an Englishman mysteriously died after performing one of the bizarre rituals in which it was said he drank the blood of a dead cat. When this happened, the Italian government was not happy and ordered Crowley to shut the abbey and to leave the country. This setback didn't stop Crowley, and he soon found an assistant to help to transcribe his teachings and to help publish his books. In 1920, Crowley met a woman called Maria Teresa Sanchez from Nicaragua, and they got married just so she could be with him in Britain. In the Second World War, Crowley was to rub shoulders with members of the intelligence service. Ian Fleming, author of James Bond novels, and Roald Dahl, author of the children's stories. However, rumours of Crowley's involvement with the intelligence service were never confirmed. However, he was to offer his services to the Naval Intelligence Service, but this offer was turned down. On December 1st in 1947, Crowley died in Hastings in England at the age of 72 from chronic bronchitis. Crowley was cremated and his funeral was described by the tabloids as a black mass and was only attended by a few of his close friends and associates, even though his teachings and words have reached hundreds and thousands of people. He seemed to have gained the infamy he craved, but he was not formally remembered as a person, but his close friends and family told people that's just how he would want it to be. Even after his death, the people of Hastings are claimed to suffer from a curse put on the town by Crowley. It is said that the residents of the town of Hastings cannot leave the town unless they find a stone on the beach with a hole in it. These stones are called hagstones. If they find this stone, it's only then they'll be able to leave the town. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the story of Aleister Crowley. Please don't forget to subscribe and share, and comment below what you think about Aleister Crowley. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye, paranormal peeps.